Hi, John. Hey. So we can make this as brief or as lengthy as you want, but we'll explain uh, revelations of today. Right. In the year 2005, I reincarnated on Earth for what was to be a brief incarnation, um, so that I could earn my wings, so to speak. This revelation has been brought to Lena's attention through various means. I've been prepping her all week, but she has not realized it. From this book, which spoke of touched on the fact that I was going to be reincarnating. And Lena kept saying to me, I thought you told me that was your last life, your life as Lennon. It was my last full, adult, where I made it to adulthood. Mm-hmm. My incarnation as Archangel Daniel, because there are many, was only to be for 7 years. And yesterday we touched on some music by the band The Decemberists, and an album that they made called What a Terrible World, What a Beautiful World, that was based on the Sandy Hook shootings in December of 2012. And the revelation therein, and the reason I had to bring this all around in a very directly indirect way, is because I knew that it would affect Lena very deeply, and it has, is that I was one of the children shot and killed in the massacre. I was one of the 27 victims. Right. I feel numb with that information. So I lived from 2005 until 2012, and it was a happy life. And I wanted to experience a very happy childhood with brothers, sisters, playing music with them, which I was a drummer. And I loved the outdoors, and I loved school, and I did everything in the opposite as my youth as John Lennon. I had loving parents, a huge family that adored me, brothers and sisters that adored me, many relatives, many happy memories from that very short life. But I was an old soul, and it's even they said so in my obituary. Lena feels uncomfortable showing the picture of the child. We'll show it later. Is that okay? Yeah, it's fine. I feel like, I don't know, how would his parents take? Well, his parents, I'm sure, would start seeing similarities in he was, after all, my energetic prototype. He was me, right? So do you remember those parents well? Yes. They were just very lovely and loving. It was a charmed life. It was everything I really didn't feel as a child growing up as John Lennon. And then I crossed over again. And it's amazing, you were shot again. Yes. Senseless shooting. Yes. I earned my wings. And when you did the blueprint in between lives for, I love you too, Johnny. I love you very much. I know how you feel. It's very hard to think of someone you love that way. It's hard. It was hard for me to think of any of those children when we talked about it yesterday. The furthest thing from my mind was that you were one of them. I was and am. So no, I did not. We don't put in the blueprint that we're going to be exterminated in any particular way. We just mock. Really, we just put in the blueprint around the time that we are going to be heading back home to the outer realm, right? And again, the book that you've been reading, these writings were from a very confused, uptight, upset person that had been very damaged by his experience as a Beatle. Really, yeah, he's got so much anger about it. His Beatle life, people, that was not really healthy for somebody like John. Regardless of oh, he got rich, yay, but yeah, I love my anonymity, love it. Even with you, it's I don't mind. We're together, and I feel like I can handle it. You sure about that now? So you're quite sure? Well, then I knew in 2012. Yeah, I'm quite sure that was my last incarnation down there. Yeah, unless once you get home, we decide to do something together that involves going back down here. But again, I don't know how much of down here is going to be left. It's I don't know. And again, that's the thing. None of us know. Things are looking pretty crazy, though. We just have to all just stick to all the good souls got to stick together and do the best we can. So my situation was in 2012. Just I was a very advanced soul when I crossed over when as Daniel, and I could see you in that child's face. Do you know that? uh, so I could. That's why when I crossed over, I immediately blasted through. Right, immediately blasted through. The last time before that happened, what year was it? Do you remember? Yeah, it was like the early that you blasted through when we started writing songs and stuff was like in the late 19 in like the mid 1990s through the mid 2000s, right? And then you reincarnated, and I was not inspired for a long time. Until 2012 when you crossed back over and right. Then I was free to make that connection. And boy, it was easy to get to you then. It was not so easy. It was not, I couldn't get to you in the 80s. I tried. I got through to that woman Bunny instead. But, I was a very frustrated, confused, karma burdened, a lot of hang-ups and a lot of bullshit to work through. My ridiculous behavior as John Lennon, really ridiculous. My God, But I was a very damaged individual, and like we saw in that film the other day, that's exactly right. Hurt people hurt people. If you've been hurt your whole life, you usually go on to hurt other people, whether you plan to do so or not. I didn't plan to do it, but I know I did. So you still got to be accountable for that when you go to the other side. So I came down again as a nice little boy in a nice family. By the time I, had earned my wings to go back down, I came down as an earth angel. Children are angels, really, till the world messes with them somehow. And this is the harsh reality. And then by the time the shootings, I was I could find you. And he lived in New York, toward upstate, but he was a New Yorker. It was Daniel. Daniel Yeoman. Yeah, but we never would have met as in that life with me as Daniel and you as Lena, who you are. But that was the agreement, and I also had the opportunity to come down as your child. We spoke about that once before, you and I opted not to. I almost did. It's like, oh, I'll be right next to her, and it just be with Lena. It doesn't matter, But then I was like, that's too crazy. It's too kooky. And then I'll end up messing up her relationship with whoever my father is, and I saw trouble. So I opted to go into a family that that you didn't know and that I didn't know. And you got shot, yeah. But that was the agreement that I go back home. Again, I didn't. It it was very quick. It was merciful, but it was shocking. To the whole scene out there in Sandy Hook. Very sad. Very sad thing to lose a child in such a way. Unimaginable. Imagine, right? Unimaginable. Anyway, so we'll talk about this a little bit more another time, but you wanted to just to make the revelation, the announcement. And I wanted you to too. And we don't need to talk about it anytime soon. We can just sit on it for a while, and I'm here for any questions you have. I don't know that I have any more. How do you feel? I feel unburdened and happy I was able to share this with you finally, because I know how sensitive you are. And it's been on my mind. How am I going to say this? You really had an incredible way of bringing the topic up with me, because I had not thought about. I didn't even know much about those shootings. I think when it happened, Christopher was in the middle of his fight with cancer. He was in really bad shape. I was at the hospital that whole time, in 2012. That was like when the shit was hitting the fan with me. Yeah. So it's like, oh, that was like on the parameter. It's like, oh, these kids got shot. Oh my God, another fucking thing. Oh my God, they're little kids. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. But in the meantime, I had all that other stuff going on at home. And it was just another news story. I couldn't, the world is so sick that I was just like, well, the world is really sick. Everyone is just insane. But amazingly, John first showed me that album. Then he brought me to that article about the children that were killed. And now we just read some of his short stories from Bunny's book, where he speaks of wanting to reincarnate and do so quickly so that he could make things right in someone else's life. And which brought me full circle just a little while ago to the fact that John was one of those children that was shot and killed and lived for only 7 years and earned his wings and got all his karma pretty much cleaned up. And now we're just really working on my karma. Yeah. But still a little bit of mine too. Still a little bit of mine. But yeah, I'm helping you out with your karma, and you're doing great. Stop thinking you're not doing great. You're doing great. Okay? And we can handle it, no matter what happens. Yeah, all right. Everything's going to be okay. Praise be God and Mother. God is merciful. Mother is merciful. It's okay.